Hey, welcome to the Tolleson-Mack podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Beck's. Beck's sunglasses, men and women's sunglasses, any style. I think, Cesar, you had a little something to do with that, right? The Beck's sunglasses?
Yeah, well, when Jay Adams started the company way back when, we had a few talks about the design and stuff, and make sure that the Beck's designs them for cowboy hats and cowboy people.
Yeah.
Like they fit.
I really like them. I mean, I was always like a Ray-Ban Wayfarer, guy, and then I tried a pair of the Beck's on, and I think I have like 6 different styles now or something.
Especially if you're wearing your cowboy hat, they're the best.
Yeah, and they seem to fit and stay on your head, like when you're roping or you're riding a horse or something. They like sit tight on your head.
I like the way that they market it. They're probably the number one cowboy sunglasses. They stand behind
out to Jay Adams.
Yeah, that's pretty. Is he? I don't know. What's his story? Is he a cowboy or?
Oh, made the finals. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Brother to Brandon Adams, and they're all.
Oh, I
big.
didn't know that.
So the horse,
right?
the horse transmission that Caleb Driggers is riding right now.
Oh wow.
Was. I believe he was sold for $150,000 to Jay Adams, and that was to start the Beck's sunglass company.
Wow!
So it was. I bet.
Cool. I didn't know.
I want to say it was like maybe 2010, 2009, somewhere around that time. Jay started his sunglass line when he made the finals one time with his brother, and it was awesome. They won a day money and stuff.
Well, now I really like that I wear them.
Yeah.
And so after that, he was like, "Man, that was enough for me. I had fun with that." And he's got a cool family and stuff. He's like, "Man, I'm gonna start a business." And he started a sunglass business.
That's exactly like how I think cowboys should, if they're going to have a business like that, and they're already a world class NFR type of, he has a lot of connections with all these guys. He took what he knows with his industry and did it just for the cowboys, and look how it's
awesome.
He took advantage of the sport that he already had the most connections with, or industry or whatever. And I think that's when a lot more cowboys need to work on that. Whatever they can do in their industry, they already know everybody. I think it's a big help. That's amazing.
So I think our guest today, Lil Michael Calmelat, should be taking some notes on that, right?
Yes, sir.
Someday I'm going to be wearing Camelot.
There you go.
I'll be proud to wear them too, buddy. I'll be like, I remember that guy. I'll be proud to wear them. So as you can see, our guest today is Michael Calmelat. And hey, man, how you been? It's been a while. Been roping? I've been good. Yeah? Where you been going? What you been doing? Tell us about it.
I went to Ray's last Friday and Benson.
Ray Higgins?
Ray Higgins, yeah.
Oh, yeah? How'd you do over there?
1/3.
1/3? Are you still, what horse are you riding now? I think I seen you on maybe on a Facebook post or something, but you were riding like a paint horse.
Yep. My paint horse. But I rode Chico. I've actually been riding Chico.
Chico's back in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about that before, right? It's a little hard to get off Chico and get on the next one because Chico's going to perform every time.
Chico's a winner, man.
Yeah.
You put 2 winners together, it's lights out, man.
Yeah. So what else you got going on? I mean, what's coming up? Where are you going? What are you looking forward to? What's happening?
The next one is June, the BFI of the Bob Tallman now.
Bob Tallman Invitational.
And that one's the one in Reno, right?
Reno, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been there before?
One time for the junior BFI in 2018.
Yeah, how'd you do over there?
No good there.
No bueno. You're gonna do better this time.
Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. Do you call up your mental game coach, Mr. De La Cruz, over there and talk
He's
to
got a handle, man. We just talk about a few things more than anything. Just hang out.
Yeah.
I think if he keeps his mind right, kind of in a good mindset, dude, he's good as they get.
So do you try to do that, Mike? Like, do you try to? I mean, I know all you do every day is eat, sleep, breathe, roping every single day, right? But do you play like some other sport maybe to take your mind off it for a little bit, or when you guys are going to Reno, do you kind of zone out and just chat with your dad, or I mean, how do you prepare for something like that without getting yourself wound so tight when you get there you snap like a rubber band?
I kind of never have really gotten too tight, but
that's a good quality.
Yeah,
right. I mean I think you're gonna skip over that too fast because that's a huge quality, right? Like a lot of guys, especially 14-year-old guys 15-year-old guys going to these big ropings would be so nervous and just scared and everything. So for you to say, I've never been wound too tight, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome for a young guy like that to be confident in his game, just to kind of relax and have fun. That's one thing that when I talked about when he was 11 years old, I'd show up these slides and him and his dad would just wear everybody out. But he's kind of been groomed for it, and I think his mentality, the way he's gone into it, it'd be funny. He'd wear our asses out, like I said in the short go, just beat everybody's butt. And then you go out the back end of the arena and say, "Good shot, man." He'd smile at you, you know what I mean? Just a little bitty 11-year-old kid. So that, I think keeping it pretty simple is one of the reasons for his success, I think.
Yeah, and him being able to go to the other BFIs and been in some pretty big stages already in your career. So, you've done a lot in a short period of time and been in some pretty big stages already. So that's some of the stuff that you didn't have were able to do. And
yeah, the work ethic this boy has is really, like, people don't really appreciate the hard work he puts into it. There's a reason he's as good as he is.
Yeah.
It's just not like he just woke up one day and he's a nine elite healer. It was a lot of dedication, hard work, and
yeah, I mean, he just loaded a stack of hay outside. I mean, I looked out there. I'm like, man, where are these guys at? We're going to start this podcast. He's out there loading a stack of hay real quick.
It's 100 degrees outside.
Real quick before he comes into the podcast, right? So, going forward, like I said, so you got the BFI coming. Anything after that? Like I hear some people in the high school rodeo. They're like, man, you got to see this kid rope. You got to see this kid rope. I'm like, who? And they're like, Michael Calmelat. I'm like, I've seen him rope, and I've talked to him. All those people say they're listening to the podcast. I don't believe them because they would be able to know that I already know you. But what do you got coming up after the BFI?
After, I'm really not sure what I have going on, but before or a few days after the BFI is the best of the best in Gallup, and I'll come back for that.
So you'll race down from Reno back to Gallup to be there. Who will you rope with at these ropings?
At the best of the best, I'll rope with Damian Padilla, and then in Reno I'll rope with Pedro and the Bob Tolman, and then the junior I'll rope with James Arvizo and I think Braden Schmidt.
How old's Damian Padilla for the best of the best?
16.
16. So, I mean, you guys are you guys are the next generation of what's coming up. Do you get tired of people saying that to you?
No.
Do you just want to go out there and rope and be like, dude, I just want to rope. If I win, I win it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you just want to have fun, right?
Yeah.
You're roping with James, you said?
Yep.
Yes. He ropes damn good.
Little James is nephew
he's awesome.
to the Derek Begay. A lot of people that don't know that, and it's pretty. Looks just like him when he ropes. I mean, it's a spitting image of his
clothes,
style.
everything. Yep.
It's pretty neat to watch.
I had a laugh the other day. I was on the phone with Derek, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me we're going to feed some cattle for him and his wife. And he was telling me, if I get these caught, and the only thing I'm thinking in my mind is if anyone in this world I could pick to go catch cattle, it'd be you. And you're telling me if I get these caught, I'll get them over to you.
Must have been some rough country.
There's some man eaters, dude. Like they'll come get you. Like they're.
And then he was explaining it to me. He says, this river runs through here, and there's a thicket on both sides, and this and that. And then as we kept talking, we got down to the real deal. Well, he had to leave for this run, his rodeo run. So he only had a couple weeks to get them caught. So we hopefully we get them caught. So do you ever get to go out and do anything like that, like any cowboying with any of those guys? I know you're kind of South Tucson, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe Coulter or Reesers are down there.
Yeah, there's a few guys, but
no, I don't really go with Coulter or anything. I'll go Brand and stuff like with Pedro or anything, but not really go catch anything.
No, where's so like Brand like on a ranch?
Yeah.
Pedro lives in Florence, Pedro Corolla, and he's got a really cool place out in Florence, and he kind of has Kai Berry and a couple of his buddies out there. They got a lot of cows, a lot of stuff. So him and I think it's awesome that he got hooked up with Pedro. He's a good guy. Pedro shoes horses really well, and so Mike's learning how to shoe horses and do a few things like that. So Pedro's a really good partner and a good friend for him to have.
How old is Pedro?
28 maybe.
Yeah.
How do you like the horseshoeing game?
That's all right. I've heard it.
I got a good story about Coulter Todd. He shoes horse real well, but he don't like to tell a whole lot of people about that. You know what I mean? So what he would do a lot of these times, especially BFI, the fees are pretty expensive. You got the BFI and the Reno rodeo that week, and back then we'd pay our own fees, but he would get his shoe and stuff out there. And before the Reno rodeo and stuff, they'd have a few the legends, jackpot, older guys. They'd pull a shoe, and they'd ask Coulter because he had his shoe and stuff right there. You want to put that shoe on? Yeah, sure. He'd put it on, and then they'd ask him, what do we owe you? What's it worth to you? And then he would never put a price on it. He said, "What's it worth for me to put that? For me to put that shoe back on your horse?" They give him $100.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
they give him, there's one guy to give him a couple $100. Dude, next thing you know, he paid his fees and everything,
Yeah.
just like that. So like Pedro does the same thing, man. He'll be running a little bit short.
He'll roll it out there.
call a couple of them guys up. You know what I mean? They all have. You go to rodeo, everybody needs their horse shot eventually.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a pretty good deal for them guys to make a little side money.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool. That's a great talent to have, especially in the game you guys play. But man, if you ever watch those kind of old school horseshoers that make the shoe out of the bar stock, I mean, those guys are like craftsmen. I mean, those guys are like blacksmiths. We had this guy for a long time, and now he's went on and started training horses. But his name was Sean Doherty, and he was the first guy that I ever seen hot shoe a horse. You know, where they really burn it into the hoof and everything. And man, I just thought that was the neatest thing ever to sit there and watch him do it. And them guys would be tapping, they tap on the anvil and it starts to make like a rhythm as they're building that shoe. And it's pretty cool. So I look forward to seeing you doing some shoeing. I'll bring some horses to you over there.
Yeah.
You be the man on the shoeing game for us.
What's it worth to you, dude?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna start using that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm gonna start using that to a lot of people. When they try to flag me down to get me to do something.
But I don't want them telling me that because then you'll feel bad after.
Yeah, that's for sure. So how is the high school rodeo going?
It's
It's
junior
all right.
highs, dude.
Or junior high rodeo? I'm sorry.
Junior highs.
That's right. The
Yeah.
state finals ended already, but
How'd you do?
I did all right. I think I won the average team open with Camilo.
You think you won?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I won.
So are you going to Georgia as well?
No.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got the Bob Tallman Invitational and
Oh,
stuff at the same time. It's the same dates as
Really?
when we're gonna rope over there. Yeah, so
That's weird, right? I mean, you'd think they would have kind of half took that into consideration,
he's
right?
got a chance for $100,000 over there at Bob Tallman. We'll just kind of
So then, who ropes with your son?
it was really cool to watch, man. I love watching my boy to rope together, and then I'm a fan of Lil Mike. Running rope together was just awesome, and watch him win too was really neat. And so since Mike is going to go do something else, we talked to the secretaries, and the next kid in line get the shot, which is
cool.
Trav and Todd. So we get to see Dela Cruz and Todd, different sides this time, but it's pretty cool.
How about getting to call him in off the bench?
Yeah. It was pretty cool because they didn't have very good finals. Him and his partner kind of had a mistake or whatever and took him out, but he was bummed, man. He's like he made it in the breakaway and a few things. He was just kind of bummed. And when Camilo went over there and asked him, "Hey, who you roping with? Do you have any plans? I know to go to the finals with anybody?" He said, "No," and it's like, "You want to rope with me?" I mean, a big ear to ear, and he's like, "Pumped up." They high five, and it was pretty cool.
I think he's who got the bounty goat.
Man, speaking of the bounty goat, dude, I want that thing. He's a perfect rope
Well,
goat.
I
Dude,
think-
me and Mike would blast that thing. I know it.
I think that Todd got it. I think
I did.
She called me the other day about it, and she said, "Man, Coulter's boys really want that thing." I said, "Well, you better get it out of there before Cesar knows where it's at,
Yeah.
because he's gonna go get it."
You didn't go to Wilcox. They got this bounty goat, dude. His horns come up and then straight out. He's about he's a little over 100 pounds. Perfect size
he's like
goat,
this
man.
tall, yeah.
Perfect. And so I was like, man.
Yeah, we were sitting at the sale barn one day, and Kayla comes up to me and says, "Hey, we're gonna buy this goat to be a bounty goat and this and that." And I'm like, "What? At the goat? At the junior rodeos or whatever, they're gonna rope a goat?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll buy it for you, and you just use Cattleman's Processing as the sponsor." So then I was sending pictures to Cesar. "This is my bounty goat. This is my bounty goat." And he's like, "I want it." And I didn't know this bounty goat was going to be such a big deal, but I guess Coulter's boys wanted it, Cesar's boys wanted it, everybody.
Levi Lewis and my little brother Philip.
Yeah.
Because what they do is you put $5 up to get a shot at the bounty goat, and you get the pot after whatever's in the hat there. And so the header turned this year really good, but my little brother missed the heel shot. but yeah, that was
So then the money rolled over, right, to the next one and the next one or something.
And I was gonna
cool.
talk to the people like, little Mike, when you were a kid, how much did you rope the goat? Yeah, like the face that he made all the time.
Like all the time.
I do a lot of clinics, and I tell people, if you can rope a goat, you can run around there and catch a goat. You can catch a steer. Like the goat's legs, the way they move, if you can see the legs and time them up, you can rope a cow. And like every time I get questions about timing, like what do you see? Well, I roped a goat when I was a little kid. So when the legs come up, I throw my loop down there. It's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
And like people really struggle with the timing. But if you can rope a goat, that really helps it out to be able to see the legs on a live cow.
Yeah.
So like, do you have a stake or do you just kind of chase them around the pen and rope them?
No, I really chase around the pen and rope them.
Yeah. That's usually the best way, man, is they're running away and you can just see it and just rope them. You got to, I tell people your riding in your left hand and stuff is primary. That's what you're wanting to do. But your right hand, your roping hand, that's secondary. It's just you got to be able to just see the steer, see your shot, and take the shot without worrying about swinging or the angle of my loop and this and this and that. Your goal is to ride your horse to that spot. When you see that your shot, you take it.
Yeah,
Keep
and
it real simple.
Andy Dobson taught me how to rope, and he would always be screaming all the time about your left hand. Your left hand, because you'd throw your rope and your left hand would go that way, your horse would go that way. You're trying to figure out why everything went to shit. Well, you made it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then finally they figured out, okay, we'll video this, and then we can show somebody that, hey, if you keep your left hand, you know, where it's at, it's better. So, yeah, I think that's pretty crucial. So, what when you go and you rope with these junior high deals and stuff like that, is it more fun than the BFI? I know that's a dumb question, right? Because BFI you're roping for 100,000, but I mean, when you're roping at these junior high deals, you're roping against guys you grew up with, and I mean, Cesar's commented a bunch of times like it's fun to get to rope with his buddies, like even if he doesn't always win, you know what I mean? So, is it fun to get to go out and rope with those dudes, or would you rather just be already rolling?
Yeah, it's fun too, but I rather go rope up there.
I was thinking of a similar question to ask you, kind of on those lines. Is it you kind of, since you're so? I mean, I'm not saying that the talent down there, you know, but you are probably the best, you know, probably one of the best, you know, to do it down there. So is it the competition? Would you rather be? Well, I guess what I'm saying is, would you rather go against the grown men best in the world, or I mean, obviously, is that what makes
I'd
you?
rather.
You know what I'm saying? Is that what you'd rather be doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand.
I think a little bit, but at the same time, when he backs in the box, he's got to kind of pay attention a little bit.
Yeah.
So all the distractions that he gets from the junior high rodeos, you don't get those distractions at the you know, the open rope and the stuff. But at the same time, it kind of helps him. Young guy, you know, it's good to socialize with you know,
I guess
group
yeah,
your age and stuff.
I mean,
When
you're hanging
you
out
show
with
up over there against some other guys, I noticed you're a little more quiet, you know, you're a little more reserved, and like you're there to win something. You know what I mean? Like it's a different deal, and it's I think for a young guy, it's good to do both.
Because
like that.
you could only do this right now. You can only junior rodeo one time in your life. You can only high school rodeo one time in your life. So I mean, I guess you need to take advantage of what you can do, why you can do it.
Yeah.
So you keep doing that as long as you can. I mean, junior high and then go to high school rodeo and
Next year, right? Let everybody know who your partner is next year.
Yeah.
Damien Padilla.
Oh, you're pretty stoked about that, huh?
Yeah.
Shout out to Damien. He's a all around hand. His dad, I went to high school rodeos with his dad. He was a very, very well, circuit champion, steer wrestler and stuff, and all around hand. And little Damien's kind of carrying the flag now. Like he does all the events, and he's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
How many of those guys, Cesar, like when you guys go to the junior high or high school rodeos, junior rodeos, whatever it is, do you get to see a lot of like the next generation? Like I know you watch your boys, but like, you know, and Mike, you know, you're friends with his dad and everything. So is there a bunch of that goes
There's
on?
a lot. And I think when I was going up there was it's funny how you go, all these kids get around each other and they feed off of each other. You know what I mean? I think that's why I said it's good for Lil Mike to come to these things, and it's, you know, he's one of the elite level ropers over there, but they all want to feed off of him. Like they know it's when they show up to junior rodeos, they got to beat Lil Mike over there, so they got to be sharp. And the young kids that are coming up, like I'm gonna, you know, the Todd boys and the Padillas, you know, those kids are sharp, man. They think about it, and they know when they show up at the junior high rodeos, they got to rope against this guy. They got to be sharp, and they got to. So the next generation of ropers, just because Mike is kind of, you know, giving them a pedestal that like this is where we got to be at, boys, and they're shooting for that. And that's how I was when I was a kid. Like I was the bottom of the barrel. I remember his Anthony Camelot. He was always better than me. Like he was a year younger, but he was always roping the open ropens. I was in the 15, and then like I got and then Coulter Todd, same thing. Them guys were always just a little bit better than me, and I fed off of that. you know, like I'd go spend as much time with them as I could and watch them rope, and then like try to be just like them, and like that. I think that's what helps out these kids when Mike's around. Like you see them, they want it. You know what I mean? They try harder, and I think that helps out a lot.
It's like Chance's boy, right?
Yeah,
Hilton,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I watched him rope a little bit. I don't know what I was in Prescott for, but I was up there and I watched him rope a little bit, and I mean, you want to watch these guys rope.
And his daughter.
Derek Dunning and like James Arvisu, they're all kind of the same age, and they've all fed off of each other. Like that's what you
Lions run with lions.
exactly.
Yes,
and like you're only going to get as good as the crowd you're running around. So Mike is an elite level roper. Okay, he ropes at all these open ropings, and some of these kids they're just barely peaking and getting roping the number 9 roping, 10 ropings. And so, man, they feed off of that so much. And like you would see in a year, for example, my little boy, you know, in a year getting to rope a little Mike, his game got so much better because he knew all I got to do is get on the bear and get it on it for this guy, and he's going to heal him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that little confidence helped his game out so much more because he quit worrying about the other side of it. He had to worry about roping, scoring, and handling. That's all he had to worry about.
It just makes everybody's game steps up when there's something.
And that's kind of at every level, wouldn't you say that? I mean, those headers, they want a guy that, you know, at the pro level like you to make, you know, that they just have to worry about their job.
Right.
Yeah, like if you watch junior rodeo or high school rodeo in Texas, I mean, that's like watching pro rodeo in Arizona. I mean, so it's the same thing, right? Everybody over there in Texas can pick up a rope and go rope. What's that? What's Brett Tatum's kid's name? Pecos Tatum. Yeah. You know that kid? Man, he is a hand, that kid. Yeah. And I mean, he's same way. You can go back and watch videos from when he was like 5 years old. He was getting on steers. He was roping. He was doing everything to be the next all-around guy. So
that's what's going to help this game grow. Is these kids like that? They're just phenomenal. Yeah. You'll see more Trevor Brazils. You'll see more, you know, Larry guys. You know, they're coming.
Yeah. So do you only heel?
No, I had a little bit too.
Okay, so are you gonna go? Well, obviously you can't do both of that, but like, do you rope any calves or anything? Could you go for an all-around title?
Yeah, I calf rope a little bit, and hope to start bulldogging too.
Okay, so are you you think maybe start that when you get into high school?
In the high school, yeah.
Okay.
You know, usually a bulldogger is, you know, a pretty big guy, and for you to become a bulldogger, even that your nickname was Little Michael your whole life, you know, that'll be something to see, because you're not no little no more. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this guy, he's stout, he's big.
Yeah, like I said, he just loaded a stack of hay in there real quick.
I'm just they're saying Little Michael's doing the bulldogging, you know, they'll never, you know.
The NFR announcers will eat that up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they'll be pulling all this footage, going Little Michael who.
But that's cool. That'd be cool.
Have you started bulldogging at all?
Shoot dogged, but no, not off horse yet.
Not jumped off of a perfectly good horse.
Fortunately for his partner, you know, his high school partner next year, Damien. His dad is real sharp, and so he's going to keep him safe and make sure he's on a, you know, if he does rides
right? I mean,
yes, and the bulldogging for sure.
Yeah.
The horse is like in all the events, but in that particular game, the horse is.
Yeah, because I mean, you would think like an average guy watching it, like, oh man, these dudes are just running down there 9-0 and jumping off a horse. But if you watch that bulldogging horse, I mean, the hazer obviously is doing his job, but that bulldogging horse is holding that steer over there, putting that bulldogger in the spot,
and then accelerating
once, and then going on by, they take their feet out. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So have you got to ride on any of those horses? And not jump yet, but I mean, have you?
No, I haven't really rode one either. Not around nothing. Been around it, but I haven't got to.
I see by the smile on your face that it seems pretty exciting, right?
Oh, I don't know about exciting, but
it's scary, huh?
Yeah.
What about how much time you spending doing calf roping? You put any time in it right now?
A little bit, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
All around points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering for. You know, I mean, if you start doing all this stuff, I mean, who was the last guy at the finals to? Was it Jesse Bell? I think Jesse Bell was in the bull riding, bareback riding, and saddle bronc riding.
I'm not sure.
I think he competed in 3 events there, or maybe it was just 2. Has there ever been anybody to compete in 3?
Well, Ty Murray for sure.
Yeah,
but
since Ty,
I'm trying to think of anybody that's been as successful at it. I know. Man, I want to say Stetson can ride a bareback horse if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Those Red Roys, they're rough stock as they get. But I would like to see in the future if there could be a tiny event guy make the finals and make it back in the rest side.
I roped with Jesse Wright in Vegas last year at the Patriot. That dude can rope.
Oh yeah. Oh, them right boys are cowboys, man.
They're cowboys, and it's funny when you rope with those guys, because team ropers kind of got that certain persona, about them, and them right boys roll up, and I mean they still got taps, and I mean they got their pocket knife in the back and everything,
The tie strings on their saddle. Like, you gonna tie a cow with a jackpot? What are you doing with the tie strings on their saddle?
Well, I mean, I got to go back to work in the morning.
Yeah.
They don't really care, but yeah, that would be cool, right? So, I mean,
how's your bull riding, Mike? You ride bulls very good? Because I think you have a chance to make it in the team rope.
Saddle bronc riding. No, you break all your own horses, don't you? Don't you make all your own horses?
Yeah.
I see some saddle bronc riding in your career. I don't know. His dad doesn't look like he sees any saddle bronc riding.
I don't think so.
No, you're out on it. You could be the first guy on both sides to get it done.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. I like you're leaving the window
I like
open.
that spirit right there.
I like you're leaving it open. Yeah, like what happens at the end of the year, and you just need a couple more points. You just in the high school to win the all around. Are you going to enter the saddle bronc riding, or just say see you next year?
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year we'll get it done. You don't want to mess up that healing shoulder.
I don't know about that. I don't want to mess up anything else.
Nothing at all, huh? So what do you want to get out of roping? I mean, I know we talked about this last time we were on here, but I mean, you want to make the finals, but what more beyond that do you? I mean, that's very obvious. You want to make the finals, and you're going to make the finals. That's going to happen. But what more beyond that? I mean, do you want to be the horse trainer? You want to have a ranch? I mean, is it what are your dreams? Because like I talked to a lot of different people on here. Cesar told us about Coulter, and Coulter wanted to go rodeo, and now he just went back, man, and he's super happy on the ranch, and
back at it again, though.
I mean, he dang sure goes out and ropes and stuff, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best in the world. But I mean, do you want to take your career to a point where they know your name and they want you to train their horses? Or do you want to train horses and sell them? Or do you want to go buy a ranch somewhere? What are your dreams? I mean, not just past the NFR.
Like probably to be like Trevor Brazil.
Yeah.
Train horses and just rope for a living and get to ride the best horses you can ride in.
Well, that's a pretty cool idol to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, not only. I mean, we can point out the obvious, right? Trevor's the greatest guy probably to ever pick up a rope, right? There's God looked down on him one day and said, "You're the man, right? We're going to give you this rope, and you're going to do things with this rope that nobody's going to be able to ever do again." But I'll tell you something else that I pick up on about Trevor. Trevor's the race car driver that never doesn't sign an autograph for a fan. He's the football player that stays an hour after the game to sign all the little kids' helmets. That guy has been very smart in the fact of knowing that bringing the fan base into what he does is going to take him to the next level and next level. Yes, his roping could have done it. I mean, of course, he's the greatest. We know that. But without all of us, I mean, where can you go where anybody halfway knows anything about a cowboy hat, say Trevor Brazil, and they won't know who you're talking about? If it would have just been solely based on championships, I'm not sure that would have been the case. I mean, it could have been the case, but I'm not sure. But he's so marketable, right? Yeah. I mean, everybody wants him, from sunglasses to telephones to ropes to whatever you name it. I mean, if this was a Trevor Brazil mic stand, we would have bought it and spent more money on it because it said Trevor Brazil. So, are you thinking about that stuff? I mean, that's important.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as important as I think as your healing going to the next level. Your healing's going to take you there, but for you to get in that spot where you want to train horses and you want to be that guy, I mean, you got to be marketable.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that kind of stuff? And I mean, I know when I when I left here the other day after we did your first podcast, I was like, man, that dude is so good at roping. I go, we just got to get him on the podcast more, talk to him, lead him out, let Cesar kind of groom him to do that stuff. And then I thought, he's the same age as your daughter. Like, you know, I mean, and it's because of your stature, right? You're a big dude. You rope with these guys. You know, everybody thinks of you as you're 20 years old, 25 years old, you know. But you have a lot of time and a lot of the right guys in your corner. You know, your dad, Cesar, all these guys that you name off. You know, have you thought about that?
Not really. I haven't, but
No.
That's the beauty of it right there.
Yes.
He just kind of just laid back and kind of happy kid.
Yeah.
And I think Trevor Brazil's a lot like that too. He don't overthink stuff, and he just wants to be a good person.
And that's marketable in itself.
Yes.
I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm saying that is marketable in itself.
Yeah.
To be so laid back and be one of the best dudes in the world, right? Because I mean, I don't know about anybody else on this podcast, but if there was some more 14-year-olds outside and they said, "Hey, we'll go match out here for 5,000," I got my guy right here. I don't know who you guys are bringing, but I'm bringing this guy. You know, so when we say best in the world, I mean,
It means something.
It does mean something.
I guess like in long ways or a short round way to say it, but with Caesar's age coming up like you at 14, there's a different path that you can take. You know, there right now there's a crossroad kind of, you know, that you can go, you can market yourself, you know, a little bit now where he didn't have that opportunity. Now with the social media, with the amount of companies that would like you to have being a Dorsey, you know, a sponsorship, stuff like that, you have an opportunity, you know, right now to take advantage of that, of how good that you are at roping, to have a whole aspect of this that most 14-year-old kids don't have a chance to do what you're capable of doing if you market yourself. You know, there's ways to do things.
Do you get approached by a lot of guys that wanna sponsor you, wanna play ball and stuff like that?
Not really.
No, not too much.
That's the thing about rodeo. I think it's hopefully going to change soon. But I think when Mike is 18 years old and he goes to rodeo, he's going to need some backers, some sponsors to kind of help him out, a fuel card. Nowadays, I'm going to throw Wesley Thorpe out there. He's done a good job with his social media stuff.
He does a
Very good job with his stuff. So his rodeoing, he doesn't pay out of his pocket to go rodeo. He has his sponsors pay for all the stuff. He's got fuel cards.
Yeah.
I mean, he's even got people helping with horses and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, and I guess that's my point to my long way around.
Yeah.
That's what this dude needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Cesar. This little Michael, 18 years old, makes it first year going down the road. So I put that in the perspective like Lorenzo Ball. He was a rookie. His dad marketed him, you know, put that big baller brand. You know, it's kind of a gimmick at first or whatever, but it's a brand behind it. Like little Michael's so marketable, and you know he has the history. You know, everybody knows him. Do you think that he would need like we talked about with Larry, an agent in the marketing world?
I hope gets
you know
to
what I mean?
that point.
Like a professional agent, because if
That's what I think.
if he
And
approaches it like that, then the bag you know should be bigger. Like his endorsement deal should be bigger. You know, like I think there's a rope company that might give you right off the get go, like LeBron James. He was given so much before he even shot his first hoop.
Well, did you guys watch Air? I think we talked about it. Did you watch
I
Air?
haven't
The
watched
Michael
it yet.
Jordan?
I hadn't got to watch it yet.
Have you watched it? So they just came out with this story about called Air, and it's about Michael Jordan, and it's actually about, like, you think, oh cool, I'm gonna watch a Michael Jordan show and watch him dunk the basketball a million times, but it's actually about Nike. And long story short, Nike got $250,000 a year to get 3 or 4 athletes out of college and sponsor them. And this guy said, I want this one guy. I want just Michael Jordan. I want to spend $250,000 on Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan's family, like I said, this is super long story short, but Michael Jordan's family worked a deal. So every shoe that was sold, Michael Jordan got a piece of it. So not only did he get the $250,000, but still to this day, Michael Jordan, anything with his little Air logo on it or anything on it, he gets a piece of that. And I think as much as, you know, as much as your dad has always tried to put you on the right horses and got you to where you need to be and looked out for your safety, it's so awesome to have a guy like that in your corner, because as you go forward, looking out for your safety is not going to be putting you on the right horse all the time, right? You're going to want to get paired up with the right guy, because there's some guys out there that aren't the right guys to get paired up with, and they'll get you in a contract and this and that, but but having a guy like your dad in your corner to try to guide you, and Cesar and these other guys, like I said, that name off, that's going to be a big deal for you, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's going to help you. And Brandon's right. One of these rope companies need to just say, that's the
Take the
Camelot.
chance.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
Camelot. I mean, and that's what Nike did.
Yeah,
Nike took the chance.
And it's not even taking the chance at this point. He has a track record to
prove
prove it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Nike, he had college. Michael Jordan. They had some film on him and stuff. Obviously, he played college ball, but
He's
this
already
kid's
beat him
proven.
at the pro
Yes.
level. He was already beat him.
If I was one of these real companies, what do you got to lose? Like it don't make no sense. You talk about your rope was #1 selling rope.
Yeah.
Like
how about we give a hat away if anybody can guess the name of this rope?
Yep.
right
Long time
here?
ago.
This rope right here. If you can get, and Michael,
In the
you
comments.
can't play this. You can't play this. You can have a hat. You can't play this either. You can have a hat. But in the comments, if anybody can name off this rope, we'll give them a hat. Throw on a shirt too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Shirt too.
so sure.
Yeah, throw on a shirt.
And we would like, in the algorithm, how they say all the comments, likes, it all helps. So we would
We do
appreciate
read
it.
'em. We read them. I like them. It's cool.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying. So the difference in Nike from the year before when they didn't have Michael Jordan and the year when they signed Michael Jordan, their income went up $142 million. So my point is, $250,000 sounds like a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money, especially to a college kid.
Yeah.
But think about how much more money he made because he got the 250, plus he got a piece of every shoe sold for $142 million, and that was just in the first year.
That's crazy. Huh?
Annually, it's like 200 billion or something like that, right? And
That's what I think the young generation of ropers and stuff like that, they need to get somebody that knows how to handle money and knows how to handle sponsors and stuff like that to help. Because you talked about the balls, they're good kids. They don't worry about anything else. They just worry about playing basketball and just being
and that's what
being
these guys
them.
need.
They just worry about being them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what the sponsors pay for. And I think I think there needs to be more agents in the rodeo world, and hopefully when
So,
Mike
like,
starts going rodeo, we can help him out with that.
You think like Wesley Thorpe going down the road versus when you were going down the road, right? That dude ain't worrying about nothing.
He's happy about
I mean,
life.
he's just happy about life. He's cruising down the road, on to the next one. Like, hey, I want to enter here. They call with their credit card, and he's entered and ready to roll.
That's a true story. Yeah.
So, I mean, that part of it, like Larry said, is got to be so huge on the mental side.
Yeah,
Right?
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
You talk about that. That's the hardest part of it.
One of the deals that I dreaded back in the day was having to deal with sponsors and trying to get the most money I possibly could for the sponsor. And like, man, I wish I had an agent to do that for me, and I could have been just a good guy. And what I mean? I'm just there happy. When you have to do business with them guys, I think they would negotiate better with an agent too.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee you they would. If say Mike's agent sits down with Cactus, and Cactus says, well, this is the rope deal we're going to do. And they say, okay, well, we'll let you know after we get done talking to Fastback.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't going to let him out of the room.
Yeah.
Now, did he have a meeting with Fastback? I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's what those
That's the
agents
art of
do,
business.
right?
Yeah.
That's the art of the game. And I was actually talking to a guy after Larry was in here, because Larry, the guy, was telling us that she thought there should be some sports agents. And after she was telling me, man, I just don't know how to figure it out. So I've kind of started talking to some people, like I need something else to do. But I've kind of been talking to somebody, and what I've came up with is if an agent could take a certain percentage of the winnings and put that into an account, like a savings account. Another percentage of the winnings is what pays him. And the last percentage of that winnings, now just use the number 10. So, we can split it up, 4, 4, 2 or whatever. The last percentage of that winnings goes into an investment fund, where this dude, when he gets, 40 years old and maybe he's all done rodeo and he's got a family and kids at home or whatever, well, then he goes and sells his stock in AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's what I would like to see.
You know what I mean? Something like that, and I guess, Mike, I'm somebody, I mean, if you take my advice on, I'm somebody that's worked hard, and I have a great family. I love my wife, my daughter, man, it's great. And I always say my greatest accomplishment is my daughter, but what I've had to do to get to where I'm at is nothing but work every single day, right? Every single day. And you have a talent, bro. Like, and if you can surround yourself with the right people, you can put yourself in a position where, like I said, you're 40 years old and you want to stay home and take your kids to the junior rodeo and stuff. You can do that.
Yeah.
You know, so keep your mind open. I mean, keep your eye on the prize, right? We can't wait to see you winning the gold buckles, but you know,
Yeah.
I think the evolution is now. Like, we keep talking about the evolution of rodeo, but I think guys like us talking about it, bringing it up, you know, Cesar being on board, and everybody that we bring on here, from Larry to Dennis to Hollywood to everybody that's on here, they all say the same thing. Like, you know, this is a sport of athletes. You guys need to be treated like the athletes. So.
For sure.
As always, we are sponsored by Southwest Farm Services.
Man, the Perez boys, you know, they're legendary in this game. The boys now, Eric, Vince, Junior, they're kind of, you know, they're stepping in. The dad's name is Mike Senior. Their website is WeSellHay.com, and when I say they have a very big influence in this Western United States, I mean they're the one of the top dogs in this game for sure.
Guaranteed.
If you want to take care of your horses and family-owned company, look them up.
Yes, sir.
WeSellHay.com. Thanks, Southwest Farms.
Yes, sir.
Look who we got on here now.
Heck yeah.
It's the bigger version of Little Mike.
Big Mike.
What's happening, man?
Nothing much.
It's the debut. This is your first podcast, right?
It is.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Well, man, we're really proud of your son, and we appreciate you coming down here and letting us talk to him, and you training him and showing him the way, man. That's pretty impressive. Father to father, that's pretty cool.
For sure.
I sure think that's neat. So I guess we kind of want to know, like, what's a day in the life.
A day in the life. Usually, we go to work first.
Okay.
You will get up and we'll go to work and try to get through the day quick enough to get home. And when we didn't have lights, we'd make a point to get home early enough to rope and, you know, ride a few colts, and we ride a few of our own, and every now and then get some outside horses and do that. And then, till dark.
Yeah.
And then we feed and start over the next day.
So now you got lights.
Now we got lights. Sometimes we're out there till a little later. You know, if it's going good and everything's good, it's not too late. But if it's going bad, we might be out there for
Yeah.
a little while and tuning and training, and maybe on each other or the horses. We don't know.
Yeah.
So
A little bit of that probably goes on, right? A little tuning on each other.
Yeah.
It's a
Sometimes.
common deal in most arenas, you know what I mean? Especially a father-son relationship out there open.
Yeah. Do you have a great time just roping with your son and spending time with them? And your daughter ropes too, right?
My daughter ropes. His mom ropes. You know, I do. The greatest thing in the world is to be able to win with your kids.
Yeah.
Like, I've won a few ropings and stuff, but nothing like when I get to rope with him or my daughter.
That's
Like, it's just the coolest feeling in the world.
That's just got to be fun, right? You look back there, and I mean, do you have that same feeling when you back in the box over there that the other kids do? All I got to do is turn this steer, and this kid's ripping his feet off.
Yeah, you know, I feel so. I rope a lot with my nephew too, Anthony, and there's always it was easier for me to rope with him because I knew all I had to do is my job. Like, I didn't have to be fast. I just had to get him turned. So I had the same feeling with little Michael.
Yeah.
Like that same, you know, and I can go to the rope, and then the older I get, I don't like the rope as much. So I would go and just rope with him. Like, I have no problem with that now. Where I used to go and I'd just enter up.
Right. You just want to rope.
Yeah. So.
Man, I wanted to talk to you a little bit, Mike, about kind of we're about the same age. We grew up in the same hood right there. And, I know growing up and we'd go to the same jackpots a lot. We'd rope together and stuff. And it's like, man, the work ethic nowadays to get to a certain level in your roping, or you want to be you want to go to the World Series and win. Like, we grew up not having a whole lot of money, and so we had to make sure we put the effort in and made sure our horses were working the right way when we showed up. We had an opportunity to win and make a living. You know, even if even if we didn't go win first or second, you know, I mean, we're out there trying to win something. If we go ahead and win a fourth or fifth, you know, I mean, we're trying to win something. And, you know, we're talking about, you know, earlier on in the day that there was times you could talk about it too. Like, we're broke. We got our money up in entry fees over here. And if you want to get back home, we're gonna need to do some winning. Or if you want to go McDonald's and get a double cheeseburger, Big Mac or something, you know, we need to win something.
It was real life.
It's gonna be ramen noodles or it's gonna be ham sandwiches on the way home, right? So talk to the people about that. And like, there's winning is awesome, but when you're down and you're broke and you win, and especially when you win with your kid, talk about that like a little bit.
Oh man, it's, you know, we don't come from a lot of money. I never did, and you know, you didn't either. So when we were younger, we just work to just go to the roping, and it felt like if I missed the roping, it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't miss very many, but I dang sure work a lot, and it was one of those things where I was happy. You know, when I roped with Anthony, he wanted to win first every time, and same thing with Lil Michael. They want to win first. I'm happy with winning third or fourth. You know, I'm happy getting checked.
Just want to win some money. If I do my job, get paid.
And get, you know, or get some money. And especially, and I was telling, you know, we were talking on the phone earlier, and there's no greater feeling than when you are broke and you win. It is just the awesomest thing ever. It's the high of highs.
Yeah.
And when you lose, it's the lowest lows.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both. And I have the one thing I do is I love roping. Like, I've loved it my whole life, and never got to do it a whole lot when I was, you know, about when Little Michael's age is now is when I kind of started because I could work.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't really do a whole lot of it at all until I was about 16, 17. And then kind of went to work and got me a little horse and just would go around Tucson. But it's, I mean, in my whole life, I've been, you know, colt here, colt there, and always trying to get a better, you know, just get a decent horse. And we've always had one or two good ones. Just like now, you know, Little Michael's got 1, 2 good, you know, that he could go probably the BFI on. He's got 2 that he could ride over there and stuff. So, you know, it's good. You know, it's good, and it's been for me the funnest thing ever. And having Little Michael's been fun. So
what I think you taught Little Mike, I think it's hard nowadays to teach these kids is how to rope hungry. Like, pretend you're broke and don't have any money. You show up to the roping, and every opportunity you get, you don't waste your throw. Like, you got to know when you deliver your rope, you got a 99% chance of catching this thing. You don't just throw your rope away. And that was one thing that I learned when I was hanging out with you guys when I was a kid. And like, man, we have to. You don't understand, man. We have to win. Like, you don't. We're showing up over here, and we have no choice. One of us in this rig, like, I used to go with them guys. But one of us has to win, boys. You don't understand. Like,
somebody in this rig's winning.
It was an unspoken, you know, talk right there with the rig. Like, hey, man, like, somebody has to win, and that helped me out rodeoing so much. Learning how to rope hungry, because when the opportunity, you draw the loper at the steer, you know, and you have your header turns them, and you have an opportunity to win money, you have to take that shot. You have to catch him. There's no, I have to catch this deer, and some of the kids nowadays they don't have that, man. It's hard. They're a little bit spoiled about it, and for a kid to learn how to rope hungry, it is something that it's a prerequisite now. Like. Even the guys that got money, like I mentioned, Wesley Thorpe, that kid ropes. He's not a kid now, he's a grown ass man, but he ropes like he is hungry. Like he's poor. Yeah. You know what I mean? He might not be able to get to the next rodeo. And I was telling Mike, you know, like when rodeoing is fun, and when I was a kid, you know, like I was like, man, if this is the last rodeo I'm gonna go to, if this is the last jackpot I'm gonna go to, I want to win like this. I would almost like, if this last year you're gonna rope, how are you going to go out? Like, are you going to catch him? Or are you going to miss him? Or what are you going to do? So that kind of pressure, like I had to catch, you know, like I have to win. And I think that Mike kind of instilled that little bit, and all the you know, he talks about Anthony and Cody and all the young guys that he's got to the high level that they learned how to rope hungry, man. And like they were when you showed up and them guys were there, you had to rope your best because they were not going to miss. You know what I mean? They're going to throw on the first hop and they're going to catch every time. So if you want to beat them guys, you have to rope hungry just like them.
That's more of a mindset because, like you said, even guys with money, certain guys that did, were not broke, they still had to have that
Brandon Adams
hungry.
was one of my favorites, man.
So that's just a
could get
mind
to the rodeo but he roped hungry.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a world champion because of it.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So with that said, how do you keep him grounded? When everybody in the rodeo world's telling your son, like, man, you're the best there is. You're the best. You're the best. You're 14 years old. You're the best. You're better than all these other guys. How do you, as a dad, and maybe I'm just asking you this question because I want to know, but as a dad, how do you kind of keep him grounded? Is it those nights in the arena where we're out here working on horses ourselves? And
Well, to be honest, like, he's just a humble kid. Like, I don't have to
yeah,
ground
he
him
is
much.
super humble.
He's
I would
not.
say that.
Anybody that knows him at all, like, you wouldn't know if he was a guy came up to me at the roping the other day and he said, man, you did, and I get this a lot. He said, man, your kid's rope's really good and he's so humble. I go, I wouldn't have known he was a 3 or a 9 if
That's awesome.
I didn't know him.
That's saying something not only for him but for you.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and I can't even remember. We were thinking Benson and a guy that I had roped with when I was a kid there, and I hadn't seen him in a long time, and he just came up and was talking to me about it. But I don't have to do a lot, and I really, to be honest, I've guided him, but I've never. He's watched roping since he was little, and he mimicked the NFR. He mimicked, just when he'd go rope the goats, and man, he'd be 110 out there when he was 5 or 6, and he'd be like, let's go rope goats, Dad. And I'm like, no, son, I'm not going outside, and he'd be bugging and we had a goat shoot, and we, when he was littler, you couldn't catch him like he does now. When he was 10 or so, he could run around and catch him. But when he was 5, 6, and I think we got some videos when he was 3, he needed somebody to turn him to slow him down, and then he'd rope him. But, he'd always come out and just come rope goats. I'm like, no, son, it's too hot. Wait till later. But now he can do it and stuff. But I've never had to do a whole lot to ground him. He's pretty humble and and now, the hardest part is when he ropes, he's probably missed more now than he ever did before because he's gotten such a high number now. He's trying to make up time and takes a little more risky shots. But the one thing I do tell him all the time is, you can't win if you don't catch.
Right.
No matter what. If you don't catch, you don't win. So, you take your shot. If you think you're going to, and I don't get mad when he misses unless it's something terrible, and every now and then he'll take a terrible shot, but not super. And every now and then he'll pull a terrible one off. But, that's my theory is if you don't catch, you can't win. So.
Right. So it seems to me like, we've talked to you a couple times now, and obviously Cesar knows you a lot better than us, but it seems like you do a great job guiding him because I asked him earlier on the podcast, hey, where are you going next? And he said, oh, I'm going to BFI. And then in the middle of the podcast when we went to break, you said, but what about the Cody Johnson?
Yeah.
I said, what's the Cody Johnson? He said, the singer guy, like he's having a roping and we're going over there, this weekend or next
Him
weekend?
and Pedro are leaving. They'll go to Sholo Friday and rope in the open over there. And then they're leaving Saturday morning, and I believe it's Sunday sometime.
Yeah.
And it's in, I can't even remember where it's at.
Buffalo,
Somewhere in
Texas.
Buffalo, Texas or something.
Coulter laughed at me. I was the same way back in the day. I didn't care where I went. If you turn the steer on the catch him at 2 feet, how about that?
And what is that? Cody Johnson is putting on a roping?
Yeah, I think he has something to do with the Cody Neesmith Memorial.
Oh, okay.
Cody
Yeah.
ropes really well too. Like he enters up ropings and
You know that commercial, this is off topic real quick, but that commercial of Bill Fick and it says it's Cody Johnson and Bill and then they have them 3 little kids. Yeah. Well, if you watch that on the 3 little kids, look at the boy. He pissed his pants. So I rewinded it. So like, what the hell? Watch. Next time you see that, rewind it. You'll see a big old piss stain.
I wonder if it's Kobe levels.
I think it is. Somebody told me it was. But
And they tell me that guy's a cowboy. Cody level.
Hey, that guy's
roping
wild,
alligators.
dude.
Yeah.
And he's wild. Like you'll go rope hogs and all kinds of stuff. And where he lives, it's man. little different country, and they do with the crossbreds and stuff like that. The mean cows, like
Yeah.
he's wild. That guy,
Yeah, they
he's a
say
real
he's-
cowboy.
They say he's pretty wild. So when you go to these different places, like you're going over to Texas and rope, you just went over there to Oklahoma. I mean, is the change in cattle a big deal to you? I mean, or is it just get them turned like Cesar said? We'll go anywhere you want. Just turn to
Like,
I'll rope 2 feet.
do you see a change in cattle? Do you see different, bigger horns or bigger body cattle over there, or what's the difference between here and there?
There's not too much of a difference, but I do see a difference, and I try to heal them whether they're big or small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all got 2 feet, huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
it changes. Like you go to different geographical places in the United States. Here, the cattle are going to be just a little bit smaller. The guys in Texas, and you go to a few places and they're bigger, but the guys in Texas rope so much. If they get just a little bit of horns, they're roping them. They got a wrap on them. They're blasting them. And then it seems like Arizona, you can rope the little ones. But as soon as you go up to the north part of the country, you start going to Montana, Wyoming, the Northwest, where they got a lot of grass and stuff. Steers get big. They get frame mirror. They're hind end. California. We talked to Tanner Bryson a while ago about California. Their hips, they're when they come out of the corner and they jump, their legs are wider when they jump, and they hit the end harder than they do, like say the ones in Texas. Like it's funny, the legs are smaller, and Texas, they're almost like little goats, And then you say you go to different parts of the country and they get bigger. Oklahoma, they're almost the same as Texas, but like it's if you just he grew up roping goats, you see the feet, you rope the feet. That's kind of like I said, I try to encourage that as much as possible for the young generation of ropers. You need to find a goat and chase around and rope it as much as you can.
We had Eric on here last week, and Eric was talking about kind of the evolution of on the header side, and saying that, man, it's really his job heading, and it's became his job more and more to really set up the run for these guys, not just yank them out there, just really get their feet together and pull them across. I mean, Cesar could break it down a little more than that, but do you either one of you guys, I guess it's a question for you both, but do you guys see that like the heading has changed for you guys to rope the feet as fast as you do on the backside?
I mean, yeah, it has changed, but whether they're this wide or right like this, I gotta heal them either way.
Yeah,
Him and Pedro got a cool rundown. They practice a lot and they work on their run, and so like it's something that it's an unspoken bond between headers and healers, and that team kind of has kind of a magic. It's hard to explain when good headers and good healers rope together. They can rope with a different guy and not win anything, and all of a sudden they rope together and they win world titles and do stuff like that. Like you see it in roping all the time. But I've noticed that with Pedro and Little Mike, man. Pedro's game steps up. And like I don't know if they're comfortable with each other in rope, and they can go against anybody.
And you guys are probably having fun, right? Like, I mean, you guys are buddies. You're having fun out there. So, I mean, there's something to that. I mean, there's something to you backing in the box knowing, man, he's going to stick bones right now. and him backing over there going, shh, all I got to do is turn it.
Because Pedro's style is more of a throw some rope kind of style, right? He drops a coil or two most of the time, and maybe that's something that you guys click with, something that, obviously if you guys are doing success, it's working, so.
It seems to be working. So before we went to the break, we were talking a little bit, and I don't know, you were involved in the conversation, but you were behind the cameras over there, and we were just kind of saying that a guy like Mike with such a bright future, man, it's going to be super crucial for you as the leader, the boss, to make sure that he's in front of the right people at the right time, getting in the right deals and stuff like that. Did you ever think when he was a little boy trying to drag you out there to rope goats when it was 110 degrees or whatever, did you ever think that that's going to be the evolution of your job to make sure this dude's in front of the right people?
Now I do a little more than before. I never had an expectation of and I still don't. Like if he decides not to rodeo, or if he doesn't make it, that to me it's not it's what he wants to do, but I do now think about more of that, and now that he's a little older. So it used to be when he's been jackpotting since he was like 6, and the money never came into effect. Like he never thought about the money, never until he got to about 10, 11, and then he'd start entering bigger ropings, more money. And so now he thinks about the money a lot. And I talk to him about it all the time. I'm like, son, it doesn't matter what happens. Like whether you win or lose, we'll be fine. Like it's going to be, we might not go to another one for a couple, days, or if it's during the winter, we go all the time. We might go to work for a couple days, but it's going to be fine. Like either way. And he's always like, well, did we clear money this weekend, this week, or, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's fine, son. And so now I do it. And the whole social media stuff, I'm not very good at that. I'm so bad at that whole thing. And we didn't
have it when we didn't have it back in the
tough.
day.
Like I've talked to some people, and I mean, I'm 45, and I feel like I'm on the back side of the social media, right? Like I kind of sort of understand it a little bit, but nothing like the younger generation does,
Yeah.
Like and I think, man, when you're just even a tick past that, or you haven't had to use it for a business, it's very hard to number one, put the confidence in it that it's really worth what everybody says it's worth, but it's going to be, I think, challenging for you as a dad to like I said, make sure that this is the right rope for him, not that one, or that one's the right one, and not this one, and this deal and that deal. And man, I think that's super cool that he has like I kind of put it, before we went to break, I'm sure as you mounted him during the years, putting him on the right horses, you always kept in mind his safety, right?
He never. I think I got him bucked off one time.
Yeah, but
and other than that, he's the Bronx. He don't hardly ride any of them, and which is we grew up a little different. But as parents, we want our generation, our next gen, to be better than us. Like
always,
for our kids to do better. And I know more now than when I was a kid, or even when Anthony rodeoed and roped a little bit. Like we didn't know as much as we do now. As we get older, we know more, just more things to help along with even horse training. Just like I feel like I'm a little better with horses than I've been in the past, and hopefully he's going to be a lot better. And
I say that all the time. I graduated from 8th grade. My daughter will graduate from Baylor.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants. But what I was meaning by safe is dealing with these guys out there that are going to want to latch onto his name is going to be like putting him on a bronc. I mean, they're going to
a different kind of safety.
Yeah, a different kind of safety. Yeah, exactly. But it's super cool that he's got somebody like you in his corner, and I commend you for that. I think that's pretty awesome.
But you, and then obviously Cesar, he's been down the road with these sponsors and these, he's seen which way is the right way to go, and I think you're very fortunate to have some good people in your corner like that, because they say fumble the bag. There's it happens. You know what I mean? And you have a shot right now that you're just starting out. I mean, when you do that, you have an opportunity. I really do. And with nowadays, a very bright future.
Yes, this podcast is brought to you by Flint Farms. Hey, boys, what do you know about Flint Farms?
And Chad is moving hay all over the state, all over the country. I think it's 3 trucks left today.
If you want that good quality hay,
damn right.
Give him a shout.
Get a hold of Chad Maddox at Flint Farms. Chad, thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you. If you have a chance to have your rope deal and make a percentage off the rope, like he talks about them shoes, if you get the right, people to help you do that kind of stuff, like you have an opportunity that not very many people do. So you should be happy for that.
That's going to allow him to rope. And
for sure.
Just rely on what he was born to do.
Right. It might sound a little
that stressing out with money and Big Mike can man, like y'all know what it's like, but man, if you're worried about backing in there and you're broke and you're worried about, man, I can't miss this year because you know what I mean, you almost got to kind of have that. You're gonna miss because you're thinking about not missing. You know what I mean? Every time, that's how the mind works for some reason. But if you can have, for me especially, if I had somebody where I knew my bills were paid and family's gonna be okay, man, my roping was sharp. I didn't have to worry about nothing but just roping.
Yeah.
And then it's funny how life is. You know what I mean? Just got to worry about.
And by the time you guys are at the level you're at, the physical comes
Yeah.
just natural.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you're
It's
like,
all between the ears. What's your mindset
Yeah,
like at that time?
right. And like I said earlier, man, the Almighty up above reached down one day and put a rope in your hand and said, "Go make some money with it." And so he's right, man. The mental game. I mean, Larry D. Guy sitting here, 20-time world champion, telling us that she has a full-time mental game coach.
Yeah.
That's what they talk about.
Yeah.
Is being right and getting right and staying right, and you got a humble attitude, and
Yeah,
man, I don't know, I'm just proud to to know you, and proud to see you go on and do whatever you
I
want.
was talking to Mike about it just a little bit while ago. The lifestyle he learned to live, about trying to hustle and stuff. Like, you got to get up in the morning, we got to go to the jackpot. We're doing that kind of stuff. If little Mike was say, I don't want to rope, I'm gonna start my business. I'm gonna start a business, whatever it is. He'll be successful at it, because he knows what it takes to work at a certain to get to the top. And I like I said, he's humble about it. People like him. Shoot, he'll be able to do whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just kind of trying to, like, which is good. He's got it in his personality already. Just be a good person. You'll go a long way.
But, we're happy for you. We want to see you do good. You've come this far, and you have a really good opportunity to do more for rodeo and for yourself. So you should be proud of that.
Which big rodeo do you really look forward to being able to go to as a pro?
Well, he hasn't got to just quite yet, but jackpot.
No,
looking forward to in his future.
Looking forward.
Like which,
When you're 18.
like you look at this wall right here, the Buckle Bunny.
Yeah.
That's what we call this now, the Buckle Bunny room. But which one of these rodeos do you really say, man, I can't wait till I get to rope at that place?
Pendleton's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Pendleton is just
Yeah.
the topic
I'm
today.
telling you,
I'm
dude.
telling you.
I'm telling you.
Big
It's
Mike
the wildest
Before he
rodeo.
loved Pendleton, he was telling us all about it.
Big Mike, which big rodeos have you been to? What's your biggest
I've pretty much just
circuit rodeo?
But one year, me and Anthony went to Cheyenne.
That's
I got to
awesome.
rope at Cheyenne one time.
That's
and,
cool.
and just being there was
Yeah.
such a cool thing. The only time I've been to Wyoming, I think, is when I went, and just the racetrack.
Yeah.
And the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool to see it.
I went to watch it, I don't know, 2014, 16, something like that. And the rodeo was awesome, but man, the girls doing their trick riding and Ryder Kister shooting them pistols. I felt like I was in the Old West. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So-
it was a show. So
Like you have so many stories, scenarios that you haven't done yet. Just trust me, son. You're gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
I think Cesar would say that you gotta always have Omaha in the bag, right?
Oh, yeah.
You gotta be ready for
Yeah.
Omaha.
Gotta have that ace in the hole, and that's Omaha for Cesar de la Cruz.
Yeah,
So hopefully you'll have the finals made by then.
Yeah.
yeah. You and Padilla, do you guys now talk about like, oh man, I can't wait till we go make it to the pros and we're gonna go rope and stuff? Is that who you might want to try to rope with in the pros?
yeah, probably. But we don't really talk about that. We
Freaking love that, dude. I love that.
Me too, man.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's so
awesome.
cool. Like,
Dude, he was 11 years old and just wears out the open roping over there, just happy-go-lucky kid, just smiling like he's just.
You guys are trying to pay bills.
Everybody just like, it's just funny, man.
Caesar's over here trying to buy a truck and this kid don't care. He's just
It was almost like he was embarrassed. Like a little smile, like
You're like, good job, Mike, little fucker.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like it's because he grew up in the same town,
Yeah.
and man, I know exactly how he
That's
grew up
so
and
cool.
how me and Mike we roped a lot together growing up, and like, man, I know exactly
That's
how you're
awesome.
doing it, man. It's cool to see, and hopefully we get a world title out of Tucson.
Little Mike, let's get your take on what do you think about the crossfire rule? How often you get called out for crossfire? Is that something that you've had to adjust your game to? Not just at these jackpots and stuff. Do you get called out once in a while, or
every once in a while
Yeah.
I will, but
do you kind of know in the back of your mind, like, shit, I kind of went at him a little too quick right there? Or,
yeah, sometimes I
you
do.
kind of press it.
Is
That's
that
the thing.
is
A
that
lot of the
bad
guys,
shot?
pro guys, they know.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
when you did it,
Yeah.
and then when you feel like you didn't do it, and
Then
they call
you're
you
pissed.
out, oh, you are pissed. Man.
So if they're right down the back, not kind of saying too much, they kind of know, but they're up in that, I got
Yes, like you know, as a professional healer, if
Yeah.
you did it. Like you can feel it. Like the steer's kind of cracking. You're like, as you're bringing it down, like Matt might be a little early. Like, but like there's nothing worse than like Big Mike can weigh in if he wants to, but the right call needs to be made.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their job, and for the NFR guys especially, I've been there and I've seen them guys battle it out, and it's separated between $6 one time, $3. I think Dakota made the finals over at Colin Von Opp with just dollars.
Oh,
They
Just
need
dollars.
replay at the final.
don't you agree?
All the way around.
Replay at the finals
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
final.
and-
And
and
replay.
all-
Started with finals.
The top rodeos like
Houston, the $50,000 ones
the
needed.
Austin, the San Antonios, all
Yeah.
these rodeo Renos, they all got the Cowboy channel there. They all got cameras in
Yeah.
every angle of the arena, so they can very much hit that. But if you're going to go to, you know what I mean, Payson, it's
Yeah.
not a Cowboy channel rodeo. You can't expect it.
Yeah.
You know, you get a bad call.
But maybe if they did something where they started it at the finals
For sure.
and say like a 3-year little trial deal, and it wasn't getting out of hand where everybody
Yeah.
and their brother was over there hitting
Press the button.
you know,
Yeah.
all the time. The PBR keeps it pretty under control. I think it's $500 or something.
Fine, yeah.
If it goes
Yeah.
the wrong way. I can't remember what it is, but
Same thing. Them guys know, like if they slap them, they
Yeah.
won't hit it. You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
They know they
Yeah.
did it. You know, so it's like it's one of them deals. But it's good that they do have it, because they'd be like, no, I didn't hit him. I didn't
Yeah.
slap him, and they go there like, no, I didn't, and then it
What-
turned it over, and that's what I like. You know.
what I see it used on a lot, and I think it would be very, very good at the NFR, especially because like listening to you guys about, you know, getting fined because you're not nodding your head fast enough and stuff. But what I see it used in the PBR a lot is the bulls fouling themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a guy gets fouled on the way
It's
out of
pretty
the chute.
quick. It's like
Yeah.
happens fast. So like the
Right.
judge just ain't quite paying
Yeah,
attention.
like I mean, if the judge is looking where that bull's going, not looking where that bull's at, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Happens.
So that's kind of cool,
Yeah,
you know. And,
yeah.
and if you guys could get it, you know, where because you get fouled up at the chute sometimes, you know, one trips or this or that, or maybe, you know, the rope barrier breaks in the wrong fashion or whatever, you know, that'd be kind of cool to use. So probably by the time you get there, after the PRCA watches our podcast, you'll have instant
Yeah.
replay.
I think we're gonna change it all.
We'll get it all changed. We're just in that positive mindset over here.
Mike, real quick, what's what your favorite or your biggest win you've done so far? I don't know if we asked you that before, but we had a question from the audience last time. We know that you won that horse trailer and stuff like that, but I mean, what's your biggest accomplishment of your career so far?
Probably placing at the junior BS5.
Did work in February at the Mike Survey.
Survey, yeah, the
Placed
survey
pretty
was
won
good.
big money.
What'd you place over there?
Third, I won
That's
third
awesome.
survey.
That's awesome.
Against the best guys in the world.
Yeah, iconic place to rope for sure.
Let's go. What, Big Mike, what was your proudest moment of Little Mike roping? I'm sure
when
there's
he
a bunch.
when he won the junior NFR in Vegas,
Yeah.
there was, because when he showed up there, I don't think anybody really thought he had a chance. There was kids
That's
that
the
roped.
best.
There was
Why do you say that?
because he was were you 9 or 10?
10.
He was, I think he just turned 10. Its birthday's February or December 4th, and I think we showed up like the 6th there or something. And he was 6+, I believe. And there was kids that just roped great. There was other kids that really roped good there, and there was some 8+s and 9s that were there, and some older kids. You know, I think it's 19 and under. So
Wow,
um.
I
And
didn't know that.
And he drew a partner. We had went all year and went to a few different places just to get points, and he ended up 15th. They took 15, and he drew a kid from Texas, and the kid was a 4+ or 4 or something, and they just did one, you know, and there was I think a couple 4s there, and like times where there were four or
Oh, wow.
5, or you know,
Wow.
kids that reached and
Jeez.
roped good, and they just caught all 5. They placed in 2 rounds, and
That's
and
awesome.
just didn't really think, you know, and not that I didn't think he had a chance, but just the odds weren't very good.
Yeah,
So
for
that
sure.
was, I remember that pretty vividly, and you know, just
Stuck out.
Yeah, that stuck out.
That's awesome. You say you're fixing to go to Cody Johnson. When you go that far, do you take more than one horse, or do you just take?
Yes, I'll probably
Take the paint?
go in the paint.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's just because something happens, but
Just-
maybe a
yeah.
different setup, or if there's different jackpot, just to
Yeah,
have
in case there's another
for
one.
sure.
Or
Mhm.
jackpot season's fixing to be done in Texas, so there's
Not much
a
going
lot.
on.
No, they're roping right now. A lot of the open guys, the open jackpots, they'll slow down because most of the guys are going rodeoing, and so there's not going to be as many of them down there. But for the next couple, 2 weeks or so, there'll be a jackpot almost every day out there.
When you were out there rodeoing, Cesar, I mean, was you say you had a rodeo like on a? I mean, give us a week in Texas. If you had a rodeo on a weekend, I mean, he's going to have to learn that game too to be able to hit these jackpots in between these rodeos to kind of keep the.
You're looking to go. You're making a living with your ropes. So you're trying to find somewhere to compete every single day if you can. And my favorite time to rodeo on was in July because we'd go to 1 or 2 rodeos a day. So with the jackpot season, it's going to be more daily. You might be able to hit some slides up and stuff like that. And this, he's a gamer. He goes to anything that you can go win some money at. But yeah, it requires at least 2 horses for him to go travel up and down the road, for him to go to Texas and go to even Reno. Man, I've had it where you wake up the next morning, you pull your good horse out of the stall, and he is sore. And you need something else that you're kind of halfway comfortable with that you feel like you can catch something on. So I think it's pretty important for a professional healer nowadays to have at least 2 with him. So yeah, like I said, you're going to go every day somewhere if you can. And like I said, the jackpots, he's going to go to Cody Johnson. He's going to go here and there. He's probably going to hit in a week. He's going to go to 3 or 4 jackpots if he can.
So at your age, I mean, you get wear out? I mean, you get tired? No. Just another day? Yeah.
That's probably
It's a
working
beautiful
to
thing, man.
It's probably working to his advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Ready to go all the time. Is he ready to go all the time, Big Mike?
Well, yeah, he is. He sleeps a lot in the truck when I'm driving.
He's a healer, dude.
Yeah.
He's a healer. You got to get the rest.
There's a lot of sleeping going on.
A lot of sleeping, yeah.
What's one thing in your game that you think that you could improve on the most? I mean, you're a 9+. I mean, I get that. If there's one thing that you could work on to help you get, what would it be?
Probably my writing. My writing is something I'd like to.
That's a very mature
improve
thing to say right there. You know what I mean? That's awesome. You said that.
That's
a lot of kids your age, they think that you got it all figured out, but like Cedar said, the riding on most of them needs. Even Dakota said, you ride your horse like shit or whatever, and you made the finals like 5 times at that point.
You ride the horse right,
So,
you're gonna catch. And any horse. So like he'll tell you if he rides his Chico really good and puts Chico in a really good setup spot right there, he's gonna catch. But if you put Chico in a bad spot, it's gonna be hard to catch. So
Right. Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Like sometimes, man, these guys can catch the dummy like crazy, but then they get on their horse. Have you ever seen that monkey riding the border collie? That's what they look like.
Yeah.
And it's a little hard to rope like that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
all right. Well, I don't know, guys. What do you
that
think?
was a great
No.
podcast.
We appreciate
You
you guys
get better
coming
every
out.
time, Lil Mike. We had the master come up in the second half to make sure you were good to
We
go.
called him in from the bullpen.
We called him in from the bullpen. So
No, we appreciate you guys coming on, and we hope that everything goes good over there in Reno and good and
BFI and everywhere you go, man, or just in life in general, dude. I hope you just keep rocking. You're doing a good job.
we'll take if you got some extra back numbers laying around. We got crazy today.
Bring
So.
them to the bucket money room.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Like and
You guys.
subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget.